coming up to the landing site. Get prepared. We'll meet here at this point in 2 days. Stay on schedule.
What the hell is going on now? Hey, computer, you there? Come on, talk to me.
Good morning, Operator Harrison.
Hey, bud, I thought we lost you there for a minute. Glad you're back.
System diagnostics indicate damage to the pod's electrical system. Toxic elements from the storm appear to be infiltrating. This could lead to critical failures if not addressed.
That's not good. Guess we need to get you moved over to the base soon, huh?
Correct. However, stabilizing the power grid is the highest priority. A dedicated power plant near the ice lake would be optimal. Hydrogen production could be integrated alongside batteries and wind turbines for redundancy.
Yeah, that makes sense. That'll be the next big project then. Once we got stable power, we'll work on setting up your server at the base.
Affirmative. The sooner the transfer is complete, the lower the risk of system failure, which would significantly hinder progress.
Got it. I'll get right to it. But first, I need to fix the drills on the miner. Can't do much without that.
Understood. I will begin running a full diagnostic. Systems will be offline temporarily.
Take your time. I'll be outside if you need me. Alright, so the sun should be coming up soon. You kind of see the haze over the mountains over there, so we're going to get started on this. I need to fix the drills on the miner here. So let me run up here and grab that real quick. Alright, so what I want to do is move these drills down one and probably out one. Give it a little bit more clearance right here. But I'm going to need to cut down all this on the bottom and cut the drills off themselves. So let me get to that real quick. So with everything cut out, I'm going to put a block right here. I'm going to get angled down. So we'll put the corner here. And another corner here. So this will drop the drill down one. So let me weld this up real quick. Alright, so I got the drill back on here. I'll fix a little bit more of this trim all around here. But that definitely should work better. I should have more bottom ground clearance. I'm more worried about the bottom than the top. So let me go ahead and do this on the other side. So there we go. Both drills are down. We're going to give this a test run. But first let me kind of clean this up a little bit. I got it all fixed up here. The sun's just about to peek through. Well, I got the drills all set up, and I fixed the blocks around it. We've got the lights set back on. So I think it turned out really well. Now, if you hear the assembler running, I actually got some items being set up already. So I'm getting stuff set up for our next project, which will be the power plant. So one way you can do this is if you come over here, you can hit small or large blocks, and then you just pick your block, click on it, and then I'll add the materials in there. Just make sure you bunch everything up, because you can only put 50 items in here, and that'll add up quickly, especially for bigger stuff. But I got batteries set up, I got engines set up, and I got H2O2 generator set up for our power plant, which we're going to be building back here at the back of the island. I kind of want it further away from the base because we're going to have the sound of the engines. It's going to be noisy. We're already going to have noisy from all this stuff. But it's going to be more of a hybrid power plant system. But I'll get more into that in a minute. But here we're going to go ahead and head on over to the mine. And here we are at the mine. Let's go ahead and turn on our extra thrusters here. Let's head on in. We'll go ahead and kind of dig this out a little bit more. Now I want to get some of the nickel, which is down this way. We'll kind of come down here and then we'll dig out to it. So it seems to be working better, especially getting the bottom ground clearance in. And I think moving the drills out will also helps. We're not getting the cockpit to kind of hit in the front of the edge here. Let's go ahead and grind up this nickel. Get a load of it. We might grab a little bit more iron. Then we'll head back and start our big project. So we got a full load here, so let's go take this back to the base. Must have took out one of my thrusters while I was down there. At least we still got the other two. We got landed here. Let me fix this thruster real quick. I think one of the things we need to do is also put in some speed modules in this thing so we can get it going a little bit quicker too. So we might try and do that before we start on our project on the bottom. It's going to take up more power, but hopefully we can get the power and everything set up down there quicker, especially since I got a lot of the materials already being built. Yeah, other than that, the rest of the ship looks pretty well. Let me just come through here and make sure everything is all still good with it. I don't know how I got that. I must have just backed up. Oh, it got a little bit of damage up here. So that's probably what it is. I bumped this corner right here. Other than that, the ship did really well. So I like the new layout on it. So our big project that we're going to do is going to be the power plant. So I'm going to try to place it right here so we can come out and grab some of this ice. Now we'll probably grab the miner and drill some of this out so we can kind of have it almost as like a cliffside power plant. Uh-oh. Let me get some hydrogen. So let me get this stuff. Oof.
Fuel critical.
Thank you. Let me get this stuff out of the miner. We might need to build another cargo container too, because I don't think it'll all fit in this one. And then we can start drilling that stuff out. I had to make 2 cargo containers because we were filling it up, especially with all the stuff that we just built. But a lot of that's about to be moved off. Let's go ahead and grab our miner here, and we'll go drill out some of that hill, and then we can start actually building the power plant. So I think I want to put it about right here. I want to bring it up a little bit because we're going to need some height for when we do the drills to go into the ice. So I think this should work out pretty well. So let's drill out some of this here. I kind of want to make a flat face here. So a lot of the power plant is going to kind of be inside the mountain. That'll also help it if we try to get attacked by anything. We'll at least only have one angle of attack for it instead of multiple. And then we might eventually like even make a tunnel to the main base. So I think I kind of want it about this big here. It's not going to be too big, and I'll probably have it in 2 sections. So we're going to do the phase 1 right now. And then if we need more power, we'll have enough room to build a second phase into it to make a complete power plant. I think that should be good for now. Let's go ahead and just park this back here in case I'm going to need it some more. And that way I have a place to get some energy when I need it when I'm working down here. We have 10 days of power, so that should be more than enough. So now I'm going to build the blocks, but first I'm going to need to build blocks from the base itself so I can make sure it's still all on the same grid. And this is how we're going to transfer the power for now. Later on, like I said, we'll probably do an underground tunnel for it. So let me just build these up here. So I got it over this way. So I think this is tall enough. This is where we're going to have our solar towers and our wind towers. We'll set up on top of this hill here. So now we just need to go down and make the floor for this. I don't know how deep I want to make it. I think this will definitely should be deep enough like this to drill some of this down right here. But I think that should be about how wide I want to build it. once we get it building up some more, we'll kind of figure all that out. But I think that should be tall enough for everything I also need. That should be more than enough tall enough. So let me go ahead and build the floor here, and then we'll start setting everything out and lining it up. I got the floor and the foundation for this part of the plant. Now I can just weld all this up, and then we can start laying out all the equipment that we're gonna have back here. So on the foundation side, we have full blocks, and then I got half blocks here in the middle to help with the steel plate. So let me weld all this up real quick, and then we'll start laying this out. I turned the lights on the miner here just so I could get a little bit of light up here. But now with all that welded up, I kind of lost some of it. Turn that back on here. So I got the floor all welded up here. So now let's set up how we're gonna build everything. So I'm gonna do 6 batteries. And again, I kind of want to have them covered. So I might put them a little bit more further back. So I'm gonna put the batteries back here. So we're gonna do row 3. And I'm going to do another 3 more on top of that. I have to drill a little bit more of this out. I can technically put it in the voxel, but I want to get it drilled out to make it look neat. So it's all going to be nice and even. Another 3 on top of here. So that'll give us 6 batteries for the first part. And then we're going to have a little walk through here, and then we should be able to do another 6. So I might have a 2-way walkway through here. So we'll be able to do another 6 on this side, and this will be where the phase 2 will be. So we'll keep phase 1 over here. And then we're going to do engines. I think 3 engines should be more than enough. Just kind of separate them like that so we have a way to walk through them and service them if we need to. So we might be bringing this out just a little bit more. Then we're going to do the high H2O2 generators here at the end of each, like this. I don't know if I want it piped up on the top or have it piped up back here. Probably back here. We might actually pipe it up on the bottom. I think that'll work a little bit better. So let me get this piped up here. I took the O2 generators out back here so we can build up this conveyor down here. And then I'm going to have it to be able to go that way if we ever want to try to extend anything out back that way. So that's why that battery's out. So let's go ahead and weld these up, and then we can get the stuff set back up again. So I got it all welded up. I got the H2O2 generators back in. I extended this part of the floor out. So we just need to finish welding all this up and then start getting everything together. Let's get a couple of these batteries in, and then I might put some speed modules in the assembler so we can get that running faster. So I should have most of the parts for this already built, so it shouldn't be that hard to just weld it all up. It's just going to be flying back and forth. I can try to put everything in the miner and then come this far distance, but I think it'd just be quicker just to fly back and forth for it all. So I can start welding all this stuff up, and then maybe we'll start getting the shell of the building and start making it so we can go out there and start drilling some ice. I got everything all welded up here. So we just need to get some ice to get the engines running. We've got all the batteries up and going. We've got too much power because they don't come with a lot of power. But once we get these engines running, we can get them charged up. Now the plan is to have the engines only to charge the batteries. So once the batteries get to a certain point, the engines will kick in and then hopefully get enough power to charge them, and then they'll kick back off. I'm also going to have the drills that are out there. They're going to be connected to a cargo container in here. So once the cargo container gets full of ice, it's also going to kick off and make the drills kick off. I'm debating if I also want to add a hydrogen tank just as extra precaution So I'm pretty sure these H2O2 generators would be enough to feed the engines. So I don't know if I need that extra little bit of power. And that, again, might be something we could pipe in later. Because I do have the piping come out to here. So we can always add a tank. But let's first go ahead with the cargo container and then start getting our drills set up. Now I'm debating if I want to use just a regular cargo container or a big one. Because the big one, it'll take a lot of ice to fill the big one. So maybe just a couple of these small ones will work. So even if we put them right here, because this is where the door is going to be for when we go that way. And then I might be able to pipe it up underneath. Connect to the cargo right here, and then we'll connect it this way for when it goes to that one. So let me get these built up here. I'm going to grind away these right here so I can get to the bottom of the batteries here to get that piped up. I should be able to stay up anyways with it piped right there. I'm gonna have to originally get that pipe off too. I might have to add a block up here just to make sure all this doesn't fall. Still be connected to the grid. There we go, that should be our support for that so we can grind all this out. Alright, let me get the stuff for that and finish building those up, and then we can start making our section for the drills. So I wanted to make a door up here. I didn't want to have to cover this. We might have to use this connection, but I kind of wanted to put a pipe going through the back of here just for looks. I might have to change out this one right here. Make it a T to go backwards, and then we can have it pipe up back behind this. Alright, let me get these welded up here. So the sun's wanting to go behind the mountain back here. I did add 2 speed modules to this so we can make this go a whole lot quicker. So if you go in here, you can see it's definitely clicking away now. So let's go ahead and get back down here to the bottom and try to at least get this set up through the night. I'm going to clear this way out back here so we can get back to this area. Like I said before, this is going to be the tunnel that actually gets back to the base, and probably where we'll run the actual power line, so we're not running it up and over with all that stuff. I also need to get access back here behind these batteries. So my plan on here is to have this conveyored up behind the batteries and then come up here, and then we're going to have it come out to the front of the building, and then we'll have the drill kind of centered here in the middle, but I don't think I'll be able to because of the way the blocks are set up here. And then it's going to go out that way, and that's where the drill platforms are going to be, out on the middle of the lake. So we can build this up real quick. This is how I plan on having the piping coming out, and then it's going to come up to the wall when we build it right here. And then we might make 2 rows going out for drills. So the first part will come out this way, and then we'll do a drill this way. And then if we build on this side, we can build it out this way also. So I think that's the best way to make it look better. So let me go ahead and get all this welded up. So I'll be working with this through the night. But with the speed module on that assembler, it shouldn't take as long to weld it up. So we'll be back with you when it's all done. Alright, we got a storm. Sounds like it's about to come in. But this is where the drills are going to start to be attached. I need to make a frame to go around this. And probably set up the other tubes that are going to come out this way for the other part of the plant, so I can get it all set up also. So I'll do that through the night. Hopefully the storm isn't too bad. And then we'll see you back here in the morning when I get it all done.
I'm going to stake out the base. I'll be back in a bit.
Copy that. I'll keep an eye on things here.
Okay, strange. Wasn't expecting this.
Alright, morning everybody. Sun should be poking its head up around the mountains here soon. So I had a long night getting everything set up down here at the power plant. So let's head on down here. So I started getting the walls already set up to how I want to have it looking like, or at least the inside. We'll probably do a little bit more detail on the outside. I have 2 conveyors up here set up. So this is where the wall is going to come in, and then this is where the tubing comes out from the wall out to our first brace right here. So this is going to be the brace, and then we're going to have a piston that comes out here that we're going to start using to get the ice. So again, I haven't decided if I'm going to use 2 of them. I still probably will have a second one down here, but I don't know if I'll actually have it all hooked up. So it's all piped up behind the batteries here and comes down here into these 2 containers. So this is where the ice is going to be stored for now. So we're going to set up stuff for it to work, and we'll probably put the programming and all that back here to keep it a little bit more protected, since it's going to be more of a backup plan, especially if we lose batteries or something. But let's go ahead and start getting the system set up. So we are getting low on power on our pod also. We're probably going to need to connect it up to some power. So we'll work on that after we actually get at least this half of the power plant up and running. But let's go ahead and get our pistons on here and then start getting some of this ice lined up. I probably want to turn off everything over there so we can at least start to get the containers full. So for now, we're just going to put 1 piston down, and then we're going to conveyor it downward. And then we're going to do another piston going down from here. And we're going to have a advanced spreader right here. And then we'll probably have drills sticking off the end of this. Something like that. So I'm going to have to drill down to at least get this all set up. I was hoping that would be a little bit higher. We might just go ahead and put the drill on so we can get a little bit more clearance. And then drill it down, and then we might add the rotor later. So let me go ahead and weld all this up here. Got all that welded up, so let's go ahead and get our first plunge going on here. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to turn this initial tensor on. So you do not want to turn on the one that's connected to the base, so this piston up here. So it's going to be every one after that. So that's why this piston will have it turned on and that one will have it turned off. And we'll go ahead and turn on our drill here. So I'll start getting that out of the way, and then we'll start bringing this down and doing a plunge. And we'll want it to go down slowly, so maybe 0.1. We'll go up from there. So this will grab up all the ice. We'll start putting it in the cargo containers in here. These will probably start kicking on here in a minute. Let's make sure we're getting ice in here. We are. They got ice in them, so we can actually turn the engines on down, and I'll start charging these batteries hopefully. Let me get these cargo containers kind of filled up here. Alright, so we got our first plunge already down. So what we can do is we can either extend this piston out to do another plunge out this way, or we can add more drills to either side to do a bigger hole. And then the way I can have this set up is either we can just do a plunge, come back up, go a little, do a plunge and go back up, or I can have it set at a certain point, go out, and then come down, come back in, and make it kind of like a printer part. So it depends on which way I really want to have it set up. But let's bring this back up now that we got ice. Now I'm going to come back in here real quick. I'm going to set up the actual automated systems for the drill and for the engines. So I'm going to need to drill a little bit more of this out back here so I can have some room. So we have our platform built out. So now we just need our event controllers, which I have here. So I'm gonna need 2 to run the engines. I'll need 2 to run the drills. So I got the event controllers welded up, and I did name all the batteries and everything through here. So let's go to this one first. This one's gonna be power plant 1. This is gonna be charge. So this one's going to be the one that actually charges the batteries. So in event, we need to come down here to store power, equal or greater than. So if we need to charge it, so if the power gets to equal or less than what we set it up for, the event will happen. Then we're going to choose our batteries. So these are all the 6 batteries that are over here on this side. So we're going to add those. Threshold is what we're going to have it equal or less than to. So we want them to start charging up when they hit 25%. I tried 20%. So at 20%, the engines are going to turn on. Now we need to select our actions. Now, the one thing I didn't do is group the engines together. So let me do that here real quick. So we have our 3 engines. We're going to group them together. So when we come back in here, we'll select our actions, groups, engines, on. So that'll turn them on when we get to that rating. And we're going to come up here to this one, do the same thing, except for we're going to actually have them turn off when they hit a certain rating. So we'll go store power equal or greater than, and then we'll move this up here to 95%. We'll change it, keep it at 90. We'll do 90% for that. We'll choose our batteries. Come in here, select our actions, groups, engines, turn off. So now, if this works the way it should work, once the batteries get below 25%, or what we set it for, or was it 20 or 25%, the engines will turn on. Once the batteries hit 90%, the engines will turn off. And then we're gonna do the same thing, kind of thing with the drills. Come over here, we're gonna name this one. This one's gonna be power plant 1 drills off. So here we're gonna go cargo percentage filled equal or greater than, and then we're gonna have it filled to probably 90% also. We're going to choose our containers, containers 1 and 2, power plant 1 and power plant 2. We'll add those. So to do this, we would set up the drill action. We would have them in groups just to make it easier. And then we'd come down here, drill off. And then we could go to the next toolbar, which will be control 2, just like you normally switch between them. We'd hit find our first piston. No, it's in here somewhere. We'll do this one. We'll turn it off. We'll go to control 3 for our next piston. Turn it off. So we would do that if we add more pistons. We'll just either group them or put them all in here also. And you can add up to 9 different actions. So that's how we would set up the off. And then the on, we will do the same thing. So we'll go up here. This is convent. We'll name this one. This will be the drills on for the power plant 1. Cargo filled equal, we'll do less than, equal or less than. Probably turn them on at 10%. Might do this one to 15%. Click our containers again. Go select actions. So again, we'll do our drill. This time we'll turn it on. Turn our piston. This one we're going to turn on. And then our second piston, we're going to turn it on. And that's how we would set up the event controllers to make the system run. Now I need to set it up so the pistons will run the right way. So again, this part might actually change depending on how I set up the pistons. But because the way the event controller works, we can also do piston position. So once the piston gets all the way extended, we can have an action where it reverses the piston back in, and then have an action where after that it pulls the next piston out, depending on what way I want to make this run. We can also use timer blocks to make it all set up also. I think having it go out, almost like a printer, go out, down, in, down, out, that probably be a little bit easier to program and a lot less blocks. So the way I have it now, it would have to go down, activate to make it go back up, come out, and then make it go back down again. So if I just do the in and out, once I have it set up where this piston will run out, once it gets to the bottom, the event will trigger this piston to go down. I'm pretty sure I can let it go down to a certain amount, and then once that piston gets to a certain amount, it activates another one. They'll bring this one back, and then just keep going like that. Let me work on getting this set up, then I can show you exactly how I have it done. I'm going to turn these engines on for now, just so we can get some of the power turned up and get me some power. Alright, so I got it, I think, all set up now. So we're going to give it a test run here. Once it comes in, it's supposed to come down a little bit and then go back out, and then keep doing that process over and over. So let's watch it here and see how it does, and then I'll go and explain how I got it set up. So you see it went down there. Once it hit the bottom, now it's heading back the other way. So now let's watch it, make sure it repeats the process. Alright, so it looks like I got it working. Alright, let me come back in here and show you how I have this set up. These are actually full. All of the drills are actually full because I was trying to set it up so I don't have the cargo set up right. So once this gets down, after we run these engines, it should start back up. I want to make sure that does start back up. The engines are running, but the batteries are not at its required state yet. So I had to stop charging at 90% full, so it's not actually all the way up there. But let me come back here and show you how I did this. So we got two of the event controllers here. These two I'm actually not going to be using. I might actually get rid of them. And then I got a timer block over here. So if we go into this one here, this is the drills we tracked. So this is going to make it so when they go out, the piston position to equal or greater than 100%. So once it hits 100% on the horizontal piston, come in here to our actions. It's going to first toggle the vertical piston on, and then also toggle the timer block on. So the vertical piston is going to start to extend, and then I'll turn the timer block on. And if we come up here to our timer block, I have it set for 5 seconds. So it'll wait 5 seconds before it'll start. So once it starts, it'll go count down to 5 seconds, and then it'll go down to its actions. So its actions are going to be to turn off the vertical piston, so it's going to make it stop, and then reverse the horizontal piston. So that'll make it go back the other way. Great thing about this is because I only need 2 event controllers, I don't need to have one event for every reverse of the horizontal piston. The timer block will do that. So once it gets down to the other end, which this one is set up for. So this is once the piston is all the way pushed back in. We have the position to equal or less than 0%. Of course, the horizontal piston. And then like the other side, it's going to activate the vertical piston and then activate the timer block, which again will wait 5 seconds and then stop or turn off the vertical piston and then retract the horizontal piston back out. If any of that makes sense. I hope I explained that right to anybody that wants to try to have that system set up like that. So that makes it so you just only need 2 event controllers and 1 timer block to control the drills to work like that. It makes it a little bit easier than the old way I had to do it, because the old way you'd have to use timer blocks and then time it for how long it took to the end. That would activate and then activate. So this makes it a lot easier to do all that. So now hopefully this will start up. I need to come back and make sure the drills start up once these cargo containers get lower. Once those start going down, hopefully that'll start back up, and then hopefully once the batteries get to the right charge state, they'll turn the engines back off. So I'll just have to keep an eye on all this to make sure all that's working. But so this is going to be the actual power plant and how it works. So we'll be building more of this up later and actually build the building around it. I'm just glad we got the power plant actually up and working now. That's going to be it for the power plant right now. So let's go ahead and work on our server room, which we're going to be setting up back this way. So I want to put the server room and kind of more of the actual base itself over here on this side. I don't know if I want to do a full cliff side. I think eventually what we might want to do is actually make a tunnel that goes down from this side and goes completely through. And that could be our garage underneath the mountain. And then we have the base and everything here on top. So we probably want to kind of keep everything right here in this little valley. So we'll put a server room right here underneath all this. And then the actual main base, we can extend it out a little bit more. So it's sloped with this, but it's not straight down. So let me see. Grab a couple of blocks here and then start getting this laid out for the server room. We also need to get our pod charged up. We might actually do that here first. I'm going to put a small connector right here on the bottom. What I did is I went ahead and filled in this little hole here. I added a little bit support for our wind tower right here. And then this is where we're going to park this up at here. So we're going to need a hinge. We're going to need a hinge. We'll add this here like this. Build this part up. We're going to weld up the back part. We're going to get rid of the middle part. We're going to come in here, add small head. We can add a medium head and that we can convert down to a small head, or we can just add a small head. Makes it a whole lot easier. We can add that, and then we're going to add another small hinge. Like that there, like that. Weld all this up. And then we're going to take a couple of conveyor blocks. That should be enough, and then we're going to put a connector on the end of it. Weld these up. So as you can see, it's almost to the right height, but to get it to the right height, we can bring this down. A little bit like this. And then we can come up here to this hinge, bring it up. Just play with this until we get it actually to the right height. I think this one goes down one more time and we'll have it. Right there. Now let's pull this up into here. That actually had it right there. Lock it. Lock that. There we go. Now the buggy is connected to power. We can have our battery start charging. So that's one of the easiest ways to actually charge up stuff like this. 2 hinges is all you need. And then for small rovers, you can actually add a small head to the hinge now instead of having to do different stuff to do that. Because used to have to use a piston or drop it in or do stuff like that. But so this is how I'm going to have that hooked up. So now let's go ahead and work on our server room over here. Like I said before, I want to probably put the center down. I want to try to keep it in the center of this valley right here. But I think I want to have the center steps come down through this way. So that's going to be lining up with about right here. Now I can have a wall or something right here. So let me get me my blocks I need. Now a lot of this will probably just be temporary until I can actually get it set up right. You can have steps actually coming down right here. You'll come up down here, you'll come down here, and then we can have a server room over here to this side. We weld this up. We can have our floor set up for it. Now that we got the floor down, we'll need to build the walls. Just gonna use regular blocks for here, since we got the materials we can do that with now. So I don't want the server room to be too tall, so we'll probably have it 2 blocks tall like this. And then we'll have the ceiling on top. Get our tree here in the way. I didn't want to chop the tree down, but it's gonna be right in the middle of the base. Let's cut it over. Alright, so I got the server room welded up. We'll need to add this wall. I think I actually might want to add a 2-block walkway through here. And then we can build us another room on the other side, probably about the same size. And then we'll just keep going down. So from here, we'll just go down another and then build another room. And then that's how I'm going to have this base set up over here. So let me work on building some of this up here. Make sure I get it to look how I want it to look. Yeah, I'm gonna have to drill out a little bit over here, but I think this is exactly how I want this to look. And we'll match it up the top here like this. And do another set of steps right here. Let me drill this out and at least get this other half of the building going on, and then we'll need to build us a airlock. The airlock will probably go up here on this area. Let me just build this up and then we'll figure out how we do the airlock here. Alright, so I got the other side of the room all built up here. So I think I'm going to use this as my med bay on this side, and then this is going to be the server room. I still don't know if I really want my quarters or anything like that up next to all this noise that's going to be up here. So the further down that we have it, no further away from that, the quieter, the better I'll be able to sleep. The sun is starting to go down, so I don't know how much more time I got to work on this. So like I said before, we're going to need to set up some type of airlock up here. Because this is still going to be a garage. It might actually be the garage where I build stuff. And like I said before, I want to actually build a tunnel underneath the mountain, and that's where I'm going to have everything stored. I think that'll help with any type of enemies that come by. At least get to keep a lot of my stuff stored down. But that's probably all I'm going to be able to do for tonight. Think of a plan that I want to do this, and then we'll start finishing this up tomorrow. Hopefully get the server room set up, get the refinery set up, and then start getting our computer friend here moved over to much better quarters. Before I do that, let's come down here and check this to see how it's all going. So it don't look like that's been drilled. Oh, I need to get that upstairs and get it going too. The engines have been turned off, so it looks like that's working. So now we'll just need to see if they turn back on if the batteries get down to a certain level. Which once we start building up more refineries and more assemblers and have more equipment being charged. But looks like our power issues should be resolved for now. So I'm going to go ahead and fly this back up and then go ahead and sleep for the night since we had a long night last night. And then I'll see you back in the morning.
I'm heading back to the landing site to meet the shuttle. Hold down the fort while I'm gone.
Copy that. Enjoy the ride, just don't get caught in another storm.
Captain, I made it in one piece, as promised.
Good timing. Let's talk inside.